Hey guys, this is UC from iTradePrice. Today is October 1st. So I have my son here as well. I'm babysitting him actually today. The rest of the family is out, so he is stuck with me. So you want to say hi to everyone?
Yeah.
Okay, so what do I talk about? What do you think about Tesla?
The Tesla is being very bad.
Tesla is being bad? Yes, that's actually right. All right, now let me do the work. Okay, and let's go out after 20 minutes. We'll go out, okay? All right.
Yes.
Okay, so let us get started. So we have the monthly bars closed. So QQQ, always like to start with the monthly view, right? Since we have a good closed monthly bar. Yes, so in the past few months now, right, you can see the trend in the higher time frame continues to be downward, right? No bullish monthly bar sees any follow through to the upside. Even if it gets the follow through, it's not able to sustain that price action, and it just kind of falls down. So now we're kind of breaking down this multi-month low, but we are at this multi-month support as well. So it might be a fight a little bit between bears and bulls, but for right now, just, you know, the price action favors downside. So if we take the support out around 266, 265, then this psychological 250 number looks kind of doable, right? I mean, in the weekly view, here's your down channel. Again, even in the weekly chart, just like how we had this green weeks, right? It's all of that is missing here, but we have all these bearish price action, bearish engulfing patterns, top wicks, things like that. So everything has been on the short side for the market. So staying with that trend, looking to shell on short on strength has been the good strategy that has worked pretty good all this past couple of weeks, right? So now going forward, now let's see. Here's QQQ. Daily chart, no bullish follow through to any upside, still heavily dominated by gap downs and bearish closes. So until that stuff kind of starts getting some bullish follow through to bullish days, things of that nature, like, something like how you see here, we had over a period of like 15 days, 16 days, we had these higher lows in the daily view, right? So we don't have that thing right now. It's too early to try to pick a bottom, right? So if you're an active trader, your strategy should not be trying to pick a bottom, right? So should not be obsessed with that, right? So you should always trade with the higher time frame trend and just consider price action on a shorter time frame, being an active trader. Yes, if you're swinging, sure, you can try to see if this thing bounces from here, gives you some bullish days, and then get you above the intraday swing highs. Sure, you can start looking for, that could be a sustained bounce. But until that happens, it doesn't look like that's a good strategy to try to pick up bottom. SPX monthly view, similar view, but QQQ on a comparative basis, right, is still hanging out here towards this multi-month low, but SPX has already broken that, right? So the monthly bar closed below all of the support area, below all 3640 level. So 3500, again, being a psychological number, looks like something that it wants to go towards. But if it still keeps on deciding to even break down 3500, then we don't really have on a monthly level support until this 3280, 3275, because that was resistance on the way up, right? Price broke down, then went back up, and once it broke above that, it consolidated here, retested it, this 3280 area for a few times before we started the journey up. So now we're coming back to that level. Let's see if it can break 3500, then definitely this 3280 is an area that it looks like price would go there. Again, we'll be evaluating it on a weekly basis, lower time frame, but until that happens, can't really do anything. Weekly view, SPX, right? And SPX, here's the weekly view. So you can see from the past few weeks, again, big bearish bars, trend bars, no bullish follow through, and just one level gets broken after the next. So it's just consistently weaker price action, and now we're again coming to the area where this was resistance on the way up, which became support once it got off that. So 3508 can be the magnet in the near term, and then we can reevaluate price, how it behaves for any upside. Again, not really favoring that. Do not try to pick a bottom, but sure, yeah, we can get an oversold bounce for whatever reason. But if you want to do that, again, 3670, because that's the high of this previous Friday. Unless we can get above that and get some traction, then definitely this 3740 can be the area, because that's where we have these multiple touch points in the daily time frame that acted as resistance. Okay, Amazon, start with the monthly view again. Relatively better than the QQQ, but again, just monthly view shows you the continued weaker price action, right? And the weekly time frame as well, in inside week. So again, from that perspective, again, it's holding relatively well, but playing it on the short side would have been paying better than trying to play the upside, right? So this was the breakout. So we are back in that zone. 1112 is your immediate support. If that gets taken out, 106 is where we have multiple touch points, and then it can definitely go towards that. For any reversals, you definitely want to go into daily time frame, and again, nothing really too exciting here for bulls unless we can start getting comfortably above 118 level, right, which is all this area, all this resistance area. If it can start getting above that, sure, we can see that even that trend line would be broken by that time. So we'll have some confidence on playing it towards the long side. Until that happens, not really in the mood to do that. Apple got destroyed this past week and month, right? All this nice move to the upside since June, almost eating back all that move back around 137, I think. So that's not a good sign for the market, right? Because Apple is considered sort of the market sentiment player. So if that thing is just falling down, then it just does not pose well for the rest of the risk on assets, right? And the weekly support, is 136.9, right? From all this way back down June, July time frame. Sure, we can see maybe there's a 1 or 2 day bounce once we get there, but overall higher time frame, 129 to 123 could be doable within the next month or so. If it tries to even bounce, we can see if it does not get back above 147, or let's just say 150. Seriously, that's sort of a psychological number. So you can have intraday moves to the upside, but the pressure again remains to the downside. Here's the 4-hourly view. It broke below the channel. So we have been watching this name closely all week, all past month actually as well, just to kind of gauge the sentiment of the market. So all the trades, I would say 90% of the trades were on the short side. Here's Tesla monthly view. Quickly, relatively better, because the rest of the names are sort of, if you look at the structures, right, they're kind of trading around this zone from that perspective, but this one is still better. But still, with the top week, so I mean, one name itself alone can't really do much. So it does get impacted by the sentiment of the market and just overall indexes. So playing this thing on the short side also bode well for us in the past couple of weeks, right? So we were mostly playing on the short side. There were some bounces intraday, but nothing too exciting, right? So now this was all resistance. It broke out above that. It retested that. So that means that level 256 has some significance. And now we could attempt to play a little bit of bounce from that area intraday basis, but I'm not going to hold anything overnight unless you want to lotto it or something, because sure, we can get a bounce, but then it can easily just kind of slice through that one, right? Just want to stay on the right side of the overall market. Again, you can see the bounces, had you tried those, they were not super, right? Just very small daily range bounces compared to these long range downside days, right? So again, sticking with the higher time frame trend pays off better. If I bring the levels here and let's go into maybe an hourly view, you guys can associate with this one because we highlighted the fact that this is making a bear flag with this area being the resistance 289. Why? Because that was the level before it broke down, then it kind of went sideways, right? Here's your flag. This is your bear flag zone. This is the ideal place to short. So I think we did short it, not here, but somewhere around 285 and above, something like that. And since then, definitely we have been mostly short, right? So even on Friday, it gave a nice bounce towards the lower half of this bear flag, right, which was the resistance zone to 275, ended up being a resistance zone, and it just kind of fell through. So now let's see if it can take out this 260, 265 zone, which acted as somewhat a little bit of weak support. So if that can get taken out, definitely we have this 256 in play. To be on the upside, I really want above 276, 278. If that zone can be taken out, then definitely 284 to 289 your upside swing targets, right? And then on a higher time frame, we really need to get above 289 to start leaning bullish on a higher time frame for this stock. Okay, and let's check out Nvidia. Super name to trade all the week. Here's the weekly view. Week chart, right? No big bounce on the weekly level. Staying with the short side paid well, but this last week was a very range bound week, right, compared to other previous weeks. So unless it can get about 128, 129, really don't feel like playing on a bounce on this one, right? We just want somebody else to be the hero, and once they prove themselves, sure, we'll ride along. But until that happens, until it's above 128, 129, no really need to play this on the upside, right? More money can be made playing the downside. You can see even the swing highs, even the lower time frame green bars couldn't really do anything to get these get this price above its swing highs, right? Like for example, this one right here, this one. So just lower highs, and it's unable to take these levels. So now if we go back and it makes like this, then this area will become our sort of short zone against this area as your stop loss, right? Because of you're thinking risk, right? So always recommend think risk, and then you can target this one down. But that's how you evaluate price action, evaluate the structure around the around chart areas, resistance levels, support levels that you can identify as areas to enter a particular trade. Let's check out AMD. It was a good chart to trade on Friday as well. I'll show you why. If I go to like a 30-minute view, right, and bring in the levels, you can see, I think I did tell it to somebody, I don't remember who, but this area, you can see it was just support, right? So this was your area to go short, right? Because it was retesting that area. So if it had managed to close above that, sure, take a small stop loss. But look at this one. The risk to reward was beautiful there. So so yeah, we did play Nvidia actually. If I go back up, right, we shorted Nvidia above 125, and the reason was that's where the previous day's high was, right? And then it was going for the gap fill, but in the down market like that, it was just hard for this price to go for the full gap fill. It just did not feel like, and even if it had gone there, my stop loss would have been just this much. So again, think stop loss, think risk, right? Let's take a look at a couple of more. Google, what a nice name, what a nice looking chart this has been. Look at this nice bear flag, right? Played out really nicely from the top short zone of this bear flag, right? It has not given any nice upside at all. Even this bullish week did not see any upside follow through. It ended up being a week where strength got sold, and this is the area we broke out of the bear flag. And since nice continuation, 92, 93 area can be the magnet for this name. Or we can see if it retests this 103, 105 zone, even 107, you can just short it again, something like that, right? But stay with the trend, right? Don't try to be a hero. Sure, when the market sentiment changes, we'll change with it. But till then, let's keep a short bias. Here's the daily view of Nvidia. I like this chart on the bullish side, to be honest with you. It held pretty nicely, right? Unless or until it can really break down actually below 230. It doesn't look bad, you know. It's just these sort of doji looking days after this big bullish day. Could be a sort of flaggish or something, but if you look into this 15-minute view, so on Friday we did buy the dip on this one, right? So we opened it up right here like that. We went back down and then we had a nice push to the upside. So I think we did post a note. If I go to my Discord here, and I think what was the notes on Netflix, sometimes I have to also go just look at it, see if it, okay, 250, that's like in the coming sessions. The chart shows strength above 235, right? So this was the morning view. So that means if it's strength above 235 and weakness below it, that means naturally if it's going towards 235, you want to try along there because your risk will be small. So if I go back to this one, right, and if I bring, like, say, a 5-minute view, here it is. So it went down on Friday, right, like this. Got a nice bounce from this 230 under 235. So you can see it didn't really close in any higher time frame above 5-minute, below 235, right? So, and once it got back bounced above 235, it was all these bottom wicks in the 5-minute chart. So it was a good risk and reward to take against the low of the day up until that point, right? So we did really well. Got a nice $4.5 worth of delta on the option we traded. So all right, hope you guys like this week's video. I know we have not been able to make in the past 2 weeks. Just had some commitments and some stuff to take care of. So anyways, we'll continue with the rest of the stuff for the remaining weeks. If you have any questions, any feedback, any chart requests, please let me know. All right, thank you. Bye bye.